Okay, so this is the director's commentary for our music video to White Noise Panna Productions. The video starts with a form or convention of the text with the title appearing on the screen. The title is written onto the screen, which is an effect that we used in After Effects, also using Illustrator to type it out. We put this in because we wanted our target audience to recognise the song or artist, and it might be a reason why they watched the video. We researched endlessly for fonts on a website called dafont.com to find the right creative kind of written style that we wanted for our text. As I mentioned earlier, Rebecca kind of led here. She went on Illustrator, typed it all out, and then went on to After Effects to create the written effects with each letter appearing one at a time. The opening sequence is of Charlene, our star, who we're introduced to through an innovative technique we saw on a 99 Souls music video. The star is walking forwards while everyone else around her is walking backwards. This took many attempts to film in London, as it was hard for Charlene to walk backwards with everyone else walking around her forwards. However, the reverse in Premiere Pro came out as a very effective tool. This initially throws our audience into the excitement, offering something new and exciting that's not commonly seen in our genre as a gratification. We took time to make sure she stepped to the beat of the song to further add detail we felt necessary for a high-quality professional video. Me and Rebecca don't star in the video as a main character, but we wanted to be in the video at some point as a cameo, being influential in the ideas and creating of the video. And so in the background of one of these opening shots, we appear. When moving into the studio, we're introduced to the male character, who through symbolic codes is throwing stuff on the floor, reversed, seen as an aggressive and impatient move. As a preferred reading, he could be seen as aggressive, possibly hinting at some kind of relationship element as an enigma. Being in the studio is deviating from the conventions, usually the video starting with a focus on high production values. However, this blurs the lines between reality and the diegetic world of the film as part of our narrative structure. By putting the audience already into the action with this argument in the studio, we deviate from Todd Robb's narrative structure, which would start in equilibrium. However, we planned from the beginning to create interest and excitement as well as enigma around their relationship, starting in disequilibrium. We then, after, are seen walking through the studio, which further questions the reality versus star persona creation element to our video. We're introduced to the scribble effect for the first time, relating our visuals of our two other media texts, the digipack and advert, with the video. This is only a quick symbolic code relating to the original artist, Disclosure, where we got the initial idea from. When filming, we plan to use this shadow shot as a finishing shot to end the video. However, it fit well at the beginning, encoding a relationship element which we hoped our audience would decode as part of the narrative. We then move on to the split screen section with the slap camera effect. This took skill on Premiere Pro, shortening the shots towards the end as the camera spun, ensuring the colour schemes were the same between the shots and the speed blended well, ensuring that it looked professional moving from Jordan to Charlene. The preferred reading of this is the male side, aggression, showing his sinister side, which we see further throughout the video. But also the spin away from reality to this exciting, escapist, diegetic world these young stars want to escape to from their mundane worries. When it spins to Charlene, she is now dressed like a star in terms of her clothing, being modern and fashionable, with makeup, to an extent offering male gaze, being a good-looking female, as a gratification. However, we challenge this by giving her power and control, empowered and confident in the shot composition, as well as her power when lip-syncing. This is a gratification to our woman audience. Here the scribble effect is used properly first, applying to Andrew Goodwin, linking visuals with lyrics. We hoped our audience would note the relation offering self-actualization with the creativity. This took us a lot of time in After Effects, initially learning the skills from tutorials on YouTube, and then using Illustrator to draw the glasses, for example, and planning in advance the moves Charlene would do, which was essential to our After Effects composition. When filming, we took a few different takes as we needed Charlene to emphasise the lyrics as much as possible to add to the realism of her lip syncing and so creation of her star persona. The scribble with the spin around her finger has a preferred reading relating back to their relationship as he is messing with her, adding to the generic breakup narrative.
You know the pieces of my heart. Sometimes it's fun. You pull my strings one by one.
The pieces of the heart further adds to a relationship element. The pull my strings one by one is scribbled and is another creative element that we planned in our storyboards beforehand, so Charlene knew what actions to do in the studio. We are firstly introduced to the New York section of the video, starting the escapism. However, the handheld shot of our male character's feet adds enigma, questioning where he is and why he's there. We just satisfyingly cut the shots to the beat, which is a convention of the fast-paced genre. Not seeing any more than the star's legs helps build his identity, which we're unsure about at the beginning, as the preferred reading. It acts as a symbolic code to his sinister side, trying to be hidden. We then move back to the performance with another scribble moving of our star's hands as she is shown in power and in control in terms of her representation. This deviates from the conventional sexual female representation in the genre as a gratification to females, who still looks good as a further gratification to males.
So during this section, we were introduced to the first overseas location, New York. During the summer, we went filming and took a series of shots of me moving around the city in order to create that summery, feel-good atmosphere that we were after. The aim was for me to come across as a moody or even slightly sinister character. This was to create and reinforce our narrative through the preferred reading. As the audience were positioned with Charlene, our female character, we wanted the audience to see me as the one who was in the wrong as the preferred reading. A convention within our genre is to have a series of montages. Therefore, in post-production, we produce some rhythmic editing with the shots in time with the music. This can be related to Andrew Goodwin's 5-factor theory with the relationship between the visuals and music. This shot of me walking away continues with the theme of myself moving around New York. The tracking shot behind me takes the audience with the character, almost as if the audience are following the character on his journey. My face is not shown in this shot, therefore, within the preferred reading, creating some enigma around my emotions. The side-on shot of me moving around continues to follow me around New York. Although these shots are not head-on, they start to give an indication of the character's emotion, which in fact appears very emotionless, therefore reinforcing the audience's position with the preferred reading, being with Charlene, the female character. These shots also work well within the edit to create continuity, ending with a cinematic background as the character looks out over the sunrise. This is then followed by a sequence of head-on shots. During this next shot, we use the scribble effect to draw a boxing ring around the female character. This is used to create another relationship between the lyrics and the visuals, specifically referring to the connotations of the lyrics, "Let's play rough." This can be related to Andrew Goodwin's 5-factor theory again by creating a relationship between the visuals and the audio, or the lyrics in particular. This can also therefore be related to Steve Neal's theory of repetition and differences. This is because we use the scribble effect to deviate our production and create something that is unique. However, this unique piece of editing actually allows us to create a relationship between the visuals and lyrics, and therefore to a certain extent following conventions. The two shots in the night create a darker atmosphere, therefore encoding our narrative into the production. The blur used in these shots creates a disorientated feeling for the viewer, as New York is the location we find our male character in. This makes the audience question his intentions within the preferred reading. We use the scribble effect again within this shot. We wanted to use this effect within as many of the lip-syncing shots as possible in order to create that continuity and add something more creative to these shots that could appear as slightly plain and lifeless. This effect allows us to create interest around these fairly conventional shots. This first slap. These series of shots begin with us moving to the new location from New York to France. After positioning the audience slightly more with the male character, We then move the narrative back to the star persona. We do this with the camera slap transition. We came across this effect whilst watching a short film created by a YouTuber, Jack's Gap, where he travelled around Istanbul and filmed his journey. This was an effective and creative way of transitioning between the different locations within our production. The next series of shots are of Charlène, our female star persona in France. This is another montage of shots with rhythmic editing, continuing this lively and summary theme created within the preferred reading. Our female character, was also dressed in swimwear, therefore relating to our production to Laura Mulvey's male gaze theory. We then transition into London, where both our characters exist within the narrative. This is followed by a series of close-ups on our star. Within these shots, she is represented as very moody and emotionless. This is a sharp contrast of her emotions portrayed within the other locations, therefore encoding that abusive relationship into our production. These close-up shots also position the audience with the female star. This section of lip-syncing involved our star lip-syncing in slow motion and then being sped up in post-production. Having lip-syncing as a convention of the music videos, therefore including an aspect of lip-syncing would create that expected gratifications that our target audience enjoy. Using the sped-up dancing together with a heavy filter was a way in diversifying this convention of music videos, therefore once again relating to our music video to Steve Neal's theory of repetition. The next section of scribbles consists of palm trees. This can be related to the exotic location that we find our male character in within the preferred reading, suggesting that our own two characters are connected, creating continuity with other aspects mentioned within the other scribbles. We then have another series of shots that consist of our main star looking into the distance. These shots are layered with flashback-styled shots of our male character in Sri Lanka, another location, suggesting that the female character is maybe thinking about her partner. However, this is only within the preferred reading. These are also very cinematic shots, with the main aim of creating that summary atmosphere being a convention of house music. The chorus starts with a cinematic shot of the male character in New York. This shot starts off with blur and comes into focus as the chorus begins, therefore bringing the song and video together. We then have the hands tapping in time with the music on the phone. This is an example of classic rhythmic editing, also moving the audience around different locations that we filmed in, therefore appealing to the explorer psychographic group that we targeted. The initial chorus sequence that resolves with more head-on lip-syncing from Charlène once again uses the scribble effect, this time to create a TV with actual white noise over the female character. This is another example of relationship between visuals and lyrics. Andrew Goodwin.
In this section of the lip-syncing, we had Charlène sing the song in slow motion by slowing down the song. This was a technique used to make the movement faster, but still having Charlène singing. We used the Diary of a Wimpy Kid Boy at the side of the frame to add someone who was recognisable to the audience. The bubble effect in the background made the shot stand out from the others. We added the boy blowing bubbles to add in the background and link with the scribble. This was made on After Effects by drawing the bubbles frame by frame. This shot was another lip syncing that we changed by having a mid shot of Charlène singing, and instead of using the scribble, we used water droplets running down the screen to create an obstruction between her and the audience. This effect was created in After Effects along with the scribble, using the diffraction tools and creating each droplet with the opacity turned down. This section was to show the location and links from the water droplets we just saw on the previous shot. This shows the exotic location that they are meant to lead, linking with the narrative. There is also a white flash in this shot as well to relate back to the white noise. This is another effect we use, the slapping of the camera. This is the second time we used it, and it appears in the video using repetition from Steve Neal theory. This is to change location and or character in a visually interesting way. This is a simple action match going from Jordan to Charlène. This is visually pleasing to the audience and creating a connection between them two relating to each other.
Tint me black and blue.
This is another section of lip syncing using Andrew Goodwin's relationship between visuals and the lyrics, where the screen turns the colours of the lyrics black and blue. This engages the audience and makes them re-listen to the lyrics.
Such a shame, you frame me with such disdain.
Here is another section of Scribble where, again, using the visuals and the lyrics, Shalene draws a frame with her hands. Also, we have referenced disclosure with the scribble effect on their face. This enhances and creates the star persona and shows a clear link to the poster and the digipack.
You got me washed out, colour drained.
Here we have split up the shots and slowly taken out the colour to create a colour drained effect.
Lately I've been thinking.
We then had a montage of the same shots by jump cutting to make it look like they were looking at each other over London. This again is referring to the narrative and relating to their relationship.
You wanna get tough, then let's play rough.
The time-lapse over New York showing the locations used throughout the video. Using Andrew Goodwin's thought beats, it changed from very fast to slow to show the change in the music. This is visually pleasing as it fits with the music. The idea of this shot is repeated again later in the video.
You wanna get tough, then let's play rough. I don't need you, giving it straight to me, giving it straight to me. You just gotta get my back.
In this section of our music video, the audience is taken overseas again, just like the New York, Cannes and London montage earlier in the video. This time it is a montage of Jordan in Sri Lanka, which emphasises our narrative. This footage was filmed over the summer. This offers the gratifications of escapism, as this is the fourth location that we show. The use of montage editing is also a convention within our genre, so during our editing process we took our time and made sure we edited shots in time with the music to further emphasise the upbeat music. This can be related to Andrew Goodwin's theory with the relationship between the visuals and the music. Within this location, we utilised the technical codes of jump cuts. This makes it visually interesting and speeds up the narrative. This mise-en-scene of the green scenery also has a holiday vibe.
I don't need you, telling me how.
During this section, we also incorporated the scribble effect. We scribbled on the shot of Jordan in the mirror for continuity, as it is an intertextual reference to the original brand who have used this effect in their music video Latch. Our target audience can also receive pleasures from recognising this. Our next shot is a time-lapse of a boat in New York. We sped up the time-lapse before there is a flash and then slowed it down. We did this to match the song, which again links to Andrew Goodwin's theory, where there is a relationship between the visuals and the music. The different speeds of the shot also helps to enhance its effect. This is aesthetically pleasing cinematic shot which rises the standard and looks more professional, and also suggests high production values. This is also a form of escapism, as it is slowed down. This enables the audience to allow them to imagine they are there. This is a continuation of the rest of the music video. This appeals to Steve Neal's theory, as we have repeated this style.
To be, telling me how to be. You just gotta get my back, just gotta get my back.
This time, to make it more interesting, we added to it by pulling my character out and inverting the colours to make myself look larger in time with the beat.
Just gonna get my back, just gonna get my back, just gonna get my back.
Here we see a reflection of the beginning of the overseas part of the music video, as we are taking back to New York where Jordan is. The shot of the countdown of the traffic lights is a repetition which appeals to Steve Neal's theory of repetition and difference. This also links to Andrew Goodwin's theory that the visuals match the music as the number go down on the beat. This modern urban setting also appeals to a young explorer psychographic who might live in big cities. We are then taken back to London, where there is a shot of me standing still in Waterloo Station. This took 10 minutes to film, as it is a very quick time-lapse. We sped it up by 800%. This effect refers to the beginning where I am walking backwards, which reinforces the importance of our star persona. Speeding it up so much also makes this technique more effective as there is a higher contrast. We then see the last shot of Jordan in New York before he slaps the camera. We have edited so that his slap spins back to the shot of me in the studio. This takes us back to the beginning of the music video. This shot is then changed to a shot of me with 2 studio lights on either side. As I turn the lights off, the shot transparency fades to a black screen, and that is the